Hello YouTube, Delta Swag here, and today I have another review for you. I wanted to go ahead and get this review done because I'm about to send this gun back in. Just to let you know, I have a game review coming up soon. I know I've been trying to put this off for a while, but I am going to try and get it done at least by May. And today I'm going to go ahead and get this airsoft review out of the way. I'm also going to do a review of my Chris Vector, but I want it to be perfect because it deserves it, because it's an amazing gun. And I'm really so thankful that I got it. Thank you, KWA, for making that amazing weapon. But in the meantime, we're going to talk about a nice little gun from A&K. This gun I've been waiting for so long. I've been waiting for it my whole life as an airsofter. My whole life. I've been playing airsoft since I was probably about 16. 16 is probably where I started really getting serious with airsoft, and I'm 19 now. I finally have this gun in my hands, and it was super disappointing because of the internals. And right now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the external and the internal quality of the one and only A&K Masada. Now, to be fair, the gun, as you've probably already seen it while you're watching this review, is because that it's an amazing, very sexy gun, and it has good power. It's a very, very great gun, very combative. It looks very nice, looks very cool. It can make any soldier look badass just holding this thing, and they probably just some pussy that don't even know how to shoot. But this gun looks amazing. It could look anybody look badass. It could look make Kirby look badass. Fucking Kirby. But anyway, let's get to the gun. First off, I'm going to start before I get to the cons and start ranting about this weapon in all its glory. One part I do have a con with is the orange flash hider. Now I know U.S. law requires us to have orange flash hiders on airsoft guns to distinguish them from real firearms, real steel stuff. But this flash hider is really big and really ugly, and it's one of those typical flash hiders that you could just melt the hot glue off of and then just twist it off, or find some screw in there that you have to twist off that the glue was melted in with to keep it on there. But yeah, hot glue, you can melt it, take the barrel off, put a silencer on if you have this gun. Anyway, let's move on. Now, the battery compartment I'm going to get to is the end handguard. The handguard is very, very comfortable. It lays flat on me, and there's no rail at the bottom. Now, this is a con. If you want, you can get rails for it, so you can put laser sights and PEQ boxes and foregrips. But you really don't need a foregrip. Unless you just want to look cool. You can get the Magpul foregrip, which I was going to try and get, but I changed my mind because I just want to turn this gun back in. But anyway, battery compartment. Here, what you do is that there's this little pin that you have to push out. I hope you can see that. It's a little pin that you have to push out of there. You push it. You can, if you're in the woods, you can go ahead and try and find like a stick or something, or if somebody has a screwdriver, you could just poke it out on one side and pull it out the other. Little pin. Then you just go ahead and slide it off, which will review your barrel. Now, one plus that this gun has, and even has on the real steel version, is the quick change barrel. The barrel can be easily swapped out basically by removing a pin that's in here, twist and pull, and you can just remove the barrel and change it. It's very helpful on the real steel, and it can be helpful in the airsoft world just in case, but I can't see it in too many cases how that's helpful. Now, the first part I want to get to that's a real problem with me, and the biggest con that I have due to manufacturer error by A&K's part, is the wiring. Now, this is your standard little wires that connect into the battery. I'm trying to get the best camera shot, so I'm sorry. It has the little typical wires where you just plug in the battery. Basically, you plug in the battery, lay it at the bottom, and the barrel's flat right here, so you can lay the battery in there. You can't fit nunchuck batteries in there, and I'm not 100% sure if it's LiPo ready, so you have to find that out yourself. But it don't fit nunchuck batteries because I have one that tried to fit it in there. I tried for like an hour. It just would not go inside this bitch. It wouldn't go. So you're going to have to put that nunchuck in there yourself if you can find a way. But A stick battery, it will take it, but let's get to the biggest con. My first con with the gun is the fuse box. I've had the fuse box come out on me during battle at least like 3 times. The fuse box, we had to stop the match, and I had to completely disassemble the gun, and I had to put the fucking fuse box back together almost 3 times. 3 times. I'm not even kidding. The fuse box, it was the black wire indicated by the red and black wires that connect to the fuse box and connect through the battery and transfers the energy and stuff into the motor. You know how it works if you know age, he's that good. But the black wire connects to the fuse box, and it kept on falling out. And not only that, the cap that holds the fuse so it doesn't get damaged also kept getting broken. So the way that this gun was set up was very, very piss poor. Now, I'm going to get to another feature of the gun, and it's also to show you another con with this weapon, and the biggest con throughout the whole weapon. I'm still on the wiring subject, moving along. The next good part about this gun is it has a bolt locking system, which is always nice, indicated by the charging handle. You just pull the charging handle back and it'll lock back. And it is fully ambidextrous. You can switch the handle that it comes with to the other side. It's really always cool to have charging handles in airsoft, you know, because you want to be that realistic guy that runs out in the field, pop the mag in, pull it back, and you seem cool. But also another nice feature, and I'm going to tell you right now, it has a clear gearbox or feeding tube, whatever it's called right there. I think it's called feeding tube. Basically, when you load the magazine in here, you can see where the BBs are feeding at right there. When you start to wind up the mag and you put the mag in, you can see if the BBs are being fed and how many's in the chamber right now. So that's pretty realistic, because in a real steel gun world, when you pull the handle back, it's to see if you got some ammo loaded in the gun and to make sure you're clear. So it's very helpful, but it's also, I also want to show you another problem that I'm not sure if I can with this gun. The wiring is really bunched up together in there, as you could so I hope you can see. The wiring is really bunched up, and I have taken the gun apart. Basically what you do is the whole top receiver is fully metal, the bottom receiver is polymer. And the reason why it's for this is because the whole top metal receiver comes off if you push this pin out and then you push the gun up. Now, when I took the gun apart, because I had to fix the mag release, which I will get to in a second, the wiring is really bunched up into the upper receiver, and you could cut the gun's wiring by pulling back the charging handle, and due to the fact that it's metal. So it cuts the wires up whenever you're moving around, and when you're pulling back this charging handle, it's bunched up in there, and it's just a complete fucking mess. And whenever I take the gun apart, sometimes when I set it back down to put it in place, the wiring gets stuck where the BBs are supposed to feed at and gets cramped. So when I go to battle, I'm sitting there shooting, no BBs are flying out. I open the chamber, and I figure out that the wires are blocking where the BBs are supposed to feed. So I spend almost freaking 5 minutes of my gameplay trying to pull the wires forward, had to go to the side again and fix the gun. I had to keep pulling the wires until they straightened out, and the dude showed me how the wires were getting cut up, and basically you just need to put some electrical tape there so it doesn't get touched. But the gun still shoots, so I guess the wires didn't get cut up. I really don't care. It's not my problem anymore. I'm done with this gun. But that's all about it. Now, to unlock the bolt, you could push down on this near the charging, near the trigger handle. You could push down on that, and it locks forward. Alright, so in order to get the handguard back here so I can get on with the review, you just slide it on there, which will take some time getting used to. Make sure the wires don't get bunched up. And there you go. It slides right back on just like that. Just make sure it's all the way back so you can push the pin in there. And these pins are pretty sensitive, because another problem that I had with this gun is the gun fell apart on me twice during battle while I was getting shot at and I was trying to shoot back. The gun fell apart on me because basically the whole upper receiver is held by this one pin. It does make it easy to take it down really quickly. It does allow you to have quick disassembly, which is another good thing to have in modular weaponry combat. It's a new thing for future, for you to be able to take a gun apart really fast and put it back together in case if you need to change a barrel, or you need to do some maintenance, or if you need to set the gun to the side and put it somewhere because it's not compact enough to take with you. Whatever the case is, guns that can be taken down real easily and put back together by somebody that has gun knowledge is a new thing, and it's really good. But all of it is held by this one pin. You pop that pin out and you pull the gun up, and basically the whole top receiver comes off. And that's how I was able to do some of my gun maintenance that I had to do on the first day I got this gun, the first and second day. I spent almost 3 days trying to get this gun ready by the time I could go to battle. And even then, the gun still had problems, so I'm not going through it. First off, what I want to get through with the review is the mag release. The mag release is completely ambidextrous, which is a really nice feature. It can be done on both sides. Your typical M4 side, which you would do by pressing the button and press the mag in there. It seems pretty simple, but one problem. When I went to go press the mag release button so I could take the mag out when I was messing around with the gun the first night I got it, the whole mag release button fell apart on me and the pin came out. A little tiny pin about the size of a fucking worker ant. It's that small. So about the size of a little tiny baby worker ant that can carry a leaf across back to its hive. It's about that small. So if the mag release button came apart on me during battle and I couldn't find the piece that holds it, and if it got covered in wood, like if you're running around, you get caught in wood and grass and stuff and you lose that pin, you're fucked. There's no parts for it. Nobody supports the A&K Masada anymore, so the parts will be hard to find. It is compatible with some M4 parts because it kind of is an M4 inside of a Masada body, but not many people support the A&K Masada as much anymore, and not a lot of people are knowledgeable about this gun. I used to have an Airsoft Ohio retailer. Well, I still have it, but the retailer's name is Airsoft Smith, which you probably heard about if you live here in Ohio. They used to have this gun on sale, and I was going to try and save up and buy it, but the next time I tried to go in the store and take a look at it to see if they still have it, and just to hold it, they don't support the gun anymore and said that they can't support it because it's so breakable and the parts are hard to find and they couldn't afford it no more. So that should have been a clue to me how bad the gun was from the start, but I just had to see for myself. So anyway, the mag release is another con. It's very flimsy. Do not use the mag release on the right side of the gun. Use the one on the left side. I was able to fix it, and the only one that doesn't break on me is the one on the left. And do not press the bolt release and the mag release at the same time, because that's a kind of how they're held together as well. They're held together between the bolt release, the mag release, 2 springs, and a little pin. So if you press those two at the same time, you might end up pushing the mag release out of the gun. Moving along, you have these little iron sights. When I got the gun, I had to screw the iron sight on there for the front one. It's a flip down, but it doesn't stay down. So I'm not sure why it doesn't stay down. But the front sight does flip down by holding this button and pushing down. You just hold the button and push up, or you can push down. The sights are pretty bad. Of course, you're going to want to put like a little holograph or a red dot on there. So I guess that's what they thought you'd be doing with the gun in the first place. But it would have been nice to have a good option for the iron sights to have the big ring, because I hate precision rings so much. They're so tiny and it's impossible to see. Next part I'm going to get with the gun, and the best part of the gun before I get to the selector switch, it's your typical selector switch, safe, semi, and full auto. And the selector switch is moved by 2 gears as well, so it's going to be pretty loud and pretty weird. It has a weird feeling. But let's get to the stock, because it's the only good part of the gun that I really like other than the look and feel of this weapon. It feels comfortable and it looks cool. It feels awesome. When I first got the gun, I fell in love, but then it turned out to be a piece of shit. The stock is very customizable. If you press these 2 buttons on both sides with your fingers, you can pull it back. And it has an adjustable cheek rest that took me a while to get used to. You pull back, push up, pull forward, pull down, and then you can rest your cheek on it, like so. I did find it very handy, but it was hard to put it on there since I wear a helmet and I wear goggles just to keep myself protected, because I hate getting shot in the face and the head. It hurts like a bitch. The stock is also foldable, which makes the stock very maneuverable and makes this a pretty good CQB weapon, considering the fact that it only shoots 300 FPS, which is a lot of the legal limit for most CQC areas. And it makes it pretty maneuverable. And as you can see, you're not going to move. I'm going to try and do a Call of Duty sprint right here. But the stock is not going to move. I've tried so many tests, the stock will not move. The only way you can move it is if you pull it. And it's held together by a certain pin. So I don't understand how it works, how it's not moving, but yet it'll move if I pull on it. So it requires force for you to move the stock at all. And it is rubberized on the back, which is another plus that I like, because I like rubberized stocks. It feels comfortable. I hate the stocks for the M4 that have the spikes on it. It just feels weird and it hurts. Anyway, another manufacturer error that really just slams the cherry on the ice cream cake of shitness. This gun is really not very well thought of. This gun should have had more love than what it got by A&K. It's a beautiful weapon and it's an amazing rifle, real steel and airsoft world. It's a perfect rifle. It's very comfortable, very combative. The name says it all. ACR, Advanced Combat Rifle. Advanced Combative Rifle. That's what it was meant for, and that's what it's made to be. But this manufacturer company just really nailed the coffin with this. You don't even have to press the button to move the stock. Basically, the stock is held together by these little blocks, these little plastic blocks. And I'm guessing that when you move the stock, it locks into the blocks that have a little, what's it called? The little gap in the middle. So basically that's how it works. It's a little plastic piece that locks in the middle of two blocks. So that's the gun. I will give the internals for this gun probably a 2 out of 5. This gun is amazing. Like I said, it is a very nice rifle, and it can be turned into what you need it to be if you spend enough money and time for it. But I'm not here to spend money and time. I want a gun that shoots nice and gets me, and it's reliable, and it gets me kills right out of the box. Because the Chris Vector sure did. The Chris Vector, I didn't have to adjust the hop-up. I didn't have to have any problems. Didn't have to take it apart. Except one time when it got jammed on full auto. That was one time, and that's the only time. Other than that, I had no problems with my gun. Every AEG I've ever owned, I've always had a problem. The motor, the gearbox, the barrel, something. It's always something. A piece got lost in battle. There's always something that happens to me with AEG guns. And that's why I'm done. But anyway, this gun, I give the internals a 2 out of 5. If you want something reliable and something that's going to be nice out of the box, don't get this gun. I'm really putting it in the description. Do not buy the A&K Masada. I know that it seems like a very nice steal. A Masada ACR for $300. It seems like a nice steal over the Magpul PTS, which is about $450 or $409, somewhere around there. For the extra $100, I say go ahead and get it. I don't know much about the Magpul PTS Masada, except that I heard that it has much better internals and that it has Aries internals, and it's much more improved over the A&K version, which I hope. And from what I understand, the charging handle is not in the middle of the gun. Rather, it's up front to get rid of some of the problems that the A&K Masada has with the wire getting cut up by the charging handle and by all the jamming issues and all the problems that I have with this gun. But I'm not going to find out. I'm not even going to buy another AEG. I'm just turning this thing back in and getting my money. So if you want a gun that's worth your money, do not get the A&K Masada. If you want to say that you have the ACR just to show off in front of your friends because you like Call of Duty, you like Battlefield, like I said, ACR is sexy as hell. I've always wanted the ACR. But this gun is just really not reliable, and you're going to get screwed over really bad, and you're not going to be very, very happy. And I'm lucky that I got to test this weapon before the 7-day return policy, because I would have been stuck with this gun. The internals are just so bad. Big corporations always ruin everything. To force me to have to pay an extra $100 or an extra $200 just to get some fancy stickers and markings, and to get the problems fixed that shouldn't even be present in this weapon for $300 is bullshit. If I want to pay $300 for something that's going to break on me within probably months, I'm probably just going to buy a fucking Xbox. My first Xbox was more well put together than this junk. For $300, you'd rather just go buy a game console. You'd rather do anything with $300 than buy an A&K Masada. It's a great gun, but A&K really screwed it up. And that's what happens, man. So if you want a Masada, get the PTS. Do not get this one. The motor's kind of sluggish as well while I'm sitting here reviewing the internals. I don't want to take it down because I already have to turn it back, and I don't want to screw up anything and then screw up my refund. But the motor was pretty sluggish as well. Instead of going brrr, brrr, like a typical motor, it's like bum, 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 bum. So the motor is pretty sluggish and pretty slow, and the rate of fire is not that very good. I heard from a lot of people it was pretty sluggish, and now I see what they meant. It's a healthy gun, but the internals were very, very not well thought of. So anyway, that's the A&K Masada. I give this gun a 3 out of 5. I would give it a 4, but just because this gun was just so frustrating and just so bad right out of the box, I can't give it any justice, other than say that it's a good-ass looking gun. It looks amazing, and it feels great, and it's so comfortable. And I am happy that I at least got to hold the gun and got to use it in combat for once, but that's all I can do. So thanks for watching this review. I am going to get the Chris Vector review up, and I'm going to do a game review. So keep an eye out for that. Spread the word. This is Delta Swag out.